Hello everyone and welcome back to Nook, the audio engineering cranny for all of your audio engineering needs. I am here today on Pro Tools. Got my two windows open and we're just going to be going through what things are here. What are we looking at? What does what? Future videos to come, we'll be talking about how to add different instrument tracks, audio tracks, MIDI tracks, and a lot more fun stuff, so stick around for this series. Alright, so getting acquainted with what Pro Tools is. First off, it is a fantastic digital audio workstation, or DAW, for recording live instruments or mixing audio. So up here we have a lot of our tools in the top bar, and starting from the left side, we have these 4 different modes that we can be in Pro Tools. Grid is when you're aligned to a grid, and based on what the tempo is, 120 BPM, for example, here. And I'm just going to create a new track so that we can see what the grid looks like. These lines are a measure each. And if I zoom in, I can see even more lines to count the subdivisions. So being on the grid means that if I have an audio region, it's going to snap to any of these lines. It can't go in between 2 lines. It will only go between one line or the other. Let's get some audio in and play around with that. So I'm going to hit record enable, record a little bit of my voice here. And as I move this around, if we go in real fine here, you can see that it's snapping here. It's not going in between the lines. If I'm switching over to slip mode, that gets me every single little millisecond that can happen in between these subdivisions of bars. For right now, slip and grid mode, I use them the most frequently. You're probably going to use them the most frequently. Moving on to our right, here we have the tools to view our audio. So zooming out here, this guy can expand or lower the length of the audio. This does not at all change the gain or the decibels that the audio is going to be heard at. I can also hit Option and scroll left or right to make it bigger or smaller. If I hit Option and scroll up or down, it zooms me in on the actual window, zooms me out. Pro Tools is amazing with all the keyboard shortcuts that it has. Most DAWs usually have all the cool keyboard shortcuts, just a matter of learning the specific ones for each DAW. And moving on up here, we have these 3 tools already selected and highlighted in blue. When something is highlighted in blue, that means it is being used. And before we talk about unselecting these, let's look at this audio clip again. And I'm just going to drag my mouse around it, and you'll see how my mouse actually changes. So right now I have this cursor up as if I was in a Word document when I'm in the top half of my audio region. Once I go below the top half, it turns into a hand, which means I can grab and drag this and move this around. If I were to grab and drag with my cursor, it would highlight the region. So these are both useful for different things. If I want to highlight, Command E, cut this clip out, drag this clip around. Maybe I need to fade in this clip. That's why I would select with the cursor over dragging this around. When we go to the end of our audio region, we have all of these different things. Up top here, I have my fader, the ability to crossfade, the ability to manipulate the speed of the fade. It's really fun to play with. You can make some really awesome noises with that and just effects with it. Just getting rid of that for a second. So that's the fade up top in the left corner and in the right corner. If I go down further, I get this little bracket with a arrow. This actually helps me loop it. So if I continue to drag the region past its parameter, it'll just keep looping whatever I have. The benefit of being in grid mode on this is that if you have a loop for perfectly one measure, you can just grab and drag that for as long as you want, and then you can get a minute or 2 long loop, press play, and be recording in an instrument on top of that. So it's a really easy way to Once you like a piece of audio, keep it going for the rest of the song. And lastly, coming down here, we get this kind of small bracket. And you see how it's facing in the other way? Like how this loop, the bracket is on the left and it allows me to drag it this way. This bracket is on the right. So what happens when I click it? It shortens the actual clip. I can happily drag it back out and get the full length of the clip again, but just make note of the direction that your bracket is facing. This one, again, it's facing in, so it's letting me, I can zoom back in and out, but the direction that it's gonna want to go in originally is the way that it's enclosed. Finally, another cool feature, if you have two pieces of audio next to each other and there's a little bit of noise here, I can come down here where the two audio regions meet and this square comes up that kind of has these crosses across it. I click down here, I drag the audio out, and it helps smooth out any clicks or pops. Again, when you're in grid mode and you're editing, it's going to only snap to the nearest subdivision. So if I want to really get nitty gritty with my crossfade, I can go into slip mode, just do a little bit. I can do as much or as little as I want. So those are the basics of editing audio regions here. So let's say I wanted to edit the volume of parts of this region, not the whole thing, but just parts of this audio region. I go all the way to the left of my audio track. I see where waveform is. That's the default that you see. And then I hit volume. And what shows up is this line. This is where the volume's at, 0. 0 is where it'll always be. That's typically where you want to record. So what's useful about just selecting the hand tool up here is that when I want to choose a specific region to lower the volume or raise the volume at, I put a couple dots in here, put another dot in here, record a little bit of my voice, and then it, you can automate volume this way. So this hand tool is really great for automation. If I didn't have it selected, I would still have the cursor here. I would have a really hard time grabbing the line and making it, my own. Going back to the waveform for a second, if I'm just selecting this one, this is just my cursor all the time. Remember the bottom, when I was fully selected on all three, I had the hand. If I just select this, it just means I'm selecting the entire region, no hand. Lastly, this left hand tool in the 3 bundle is the looper tool. This just means that I'm going to have the looping feature throughout the entire region. It will not be the cursor and it will not be the hand. Depending on what you're doing the most at that moment, that it benefits you to have all 3 selected or to just have one selected at that time. Another really awesome tool is the pencil tool here. So when I select this in blue, it takes it off of this. I can't have both selected at the same time. And for the right reason, that this needs to have full command over the entire region. So I'm back in the volume view of my clip, and it's a cute little pencil. And what I can do is draw it down. It creates all of these different points that it knows to bring the volume down. Let's hear how that sounds. Voice, record a little bit of my voice. There we go. So we kind of see how automation can begin to take life in Pro Tools. Once you get back into the 3 tool bundle, you can feel free, if you don't want all those little audio regions, select a little bit of it, press delete, and then it'll make it a little bit more smooth of a slope so that you're not dealing with all these little dots. It's up to you. Up top here, we have our main transport. Right now, I'm viewing my track in bars and beats, which if you're on grid mode, it's really beneficial. Helps you line it up, it helps keep things in sync and on tempo. If I'd like, I can go into minutes and seconds and I can, be like, okay, this is this is second 15. I have this, movie or this video that I'm creating, and at 17 seconds, I need the sound to duck out. So it might be useful for you if you're compiling audio for something or another project to know where the minutes are. It is also visually up here for you in this kind of gray part across the entire window. You can see the minutes regardless of if I'm in beats and bars. It just highlights which mode you're in. Lastly, over here, if I'm in grid mode, I can choose the subdivision that I'm viewing. So let's go into half note for a second and just see the stark difference. Zooming in here, this is my 1/8 measure. If I'm in half note mode, I can only highlight a half of a measure at a time. This can be useful for whatever application you need, or if I'm looking for more subdivisions, I can get as small as the 64th note and get literally just one little region. So that's what this can help you do. And if I ever lose my grid, it's probably because this accidentally got unclicked. All right, and the last thing on top of here, this is my main recording features over here. If I want to record something, I'll go into more detail about recording actual tracks in my next video. But if I want to record something, I just make sure I hit this red record button and I hit play. And then it starts recording some audio for me. If I stop, if I want to stop, I can press the space bar, or I can just hit stop again. So this is just a little sample of what Pro Tools interface looks like, the layout of it. If it seems intuitive or easy user-friendly to you, this might be indicative of getting Pro Tools over another DAW for whatever uses you may have.